Elon Musk is taking on former CNN host Don Lemon in an interview explaining how he believes immigration helps Democrats.
Can we talk about the great replacement theory now? Some of the things that you post, the great replacement theory, you claim that Democrats, President Biden's immigration plan to open up the border, you said that the president is getting, and Democrats are doing it to get more votes. But undocumented immigrants cannot vote in federal elections, so how is that possible?
Right. Well, you're conflating two things. One is great replacement theory. The other is, which I don't subscribe to that. I'm simply saying that there is an incentive here. If legal immigrants, which I think have a very strong bias to, at least everything I've read, it's a very strong bias to vote Democrat. The more that come into the country, the more they're likely to vote in that direction. But it is, in my view, a simple incentive to increase voters, Democrat voters. If you look at the apportionment with and without illegals, there would be a net loss of blue states of approximately 20 seats in the House. This also applies to the Electoral College. So you say, like, well, this also applies to electing the president, because the electoral votes are also done by apportionment the same way that House seats are done.
But the reason, Elon, the Electoral College is in place is to balance that, is so that doesn't happen. So what you're saying about it is the exact opposite of the reason why the Electoral College is there.
My understanding is that there would be that the Democrats would lose approximately 20 seats in the House if illegals were not counted in the census. And that's also 20 less electoral votes for president. So the illegals absolutely do affect who controls the House and who controls the presidency. It does not affect the Senate.
Yeah. In blue states, you're talking about. I
Yes.
don't believe that your information on that is right.
Well done. Let's bring up the information. Okay, here you go, Molly. FoxNews.com. Overall, according to the Federation for American Immigration Reform, there are an estimated 16.8 million illegal immigrants living in the U.S. as of June 23. Therefore, because every House seat represents 761,168 residents on average, the total number of illegal immigrants account for roughly 22 seats in the House, also affects the electoral vote count. So, Don Lemon, there you have it.
You know, Elon Musk is so patient there in explaining how this data is used to, create essentially election district boundaries. So this is all true information, and he's being so patient in explaining this. So this is the data. It's not just about federal funding into all these different states and what they might need, including it's had a big impact on COVID funding over the course of the COVID crisis when it was going on, and all sorts of other funding. But it does have this impact as well on American elections. And he notes that the Senate, not the Senate because that's 2 per state versus the House, which has to do with all of these election boundaries. But just kudos on Elon Musk for being calm and graciously explaining how it all works.
Yeah, so I wonder if this notion of political power had anything to do with Joe Biden's day one priorities, Kevin. NPR, check out the date, January 20th, 2021. So first day in office, Biden ends Trump's census policy, ensuring all persons living in U.S. are counted. That would mean illegal immigrants, too. Day one priority.
You know, I'm happy about including the Don Lemon issue, and the narrative that's going on about immigration is being tied directly to border security, which has now become the #1 issue in this political season. It is the #1 issue in terms of who will get elected as president. It is the #1 issue on everybody's minds because this time it's a visual dynamic. Every day seeing people crossing over the river, through the fence, powerful imagery that won't go away. It stays in local news, particularly in California and Texas. It stays on the national news. It's right here on Outnumbered right now. We're talking about it. It won't go away, and that's a good thing. Forget about the rhetoric. Think about the policy. I think people have to vote this election on policy. Forget about the bipartisanship or partisanship. It doesn't matter. What matters to you? What matters to you on border security? What matters to you on energy security? What matters to you on taxation, foreign policy? All policy, policy, policy. We got 8 months left. Why don't we start dealing with policy? I can't wait. I think this is #1 on the hit parade.
So the visual you can't escape, which makes it all the more confounding that the Biden campaign just put this out. Let's bring up the border czar. Watch.
I stand before you as Vice President of the United States.
President
President Biden and I are fighting to secure a pathway for citizenship, including for dreamers and families, and to make our immigration system more orderly and humane.
So that's the message put out today.
Did they add the clip of the president, the first lady, calling them tacos? I mean, I can't picturing of bodies of people that represent individuals that this White House continues to hammer home. What we saw between Don Lemon and Elon Musk is the formula that the left shoves down our throats, which is this. Someone calmly says, here's a fact. And in fact, he actually understated the fact because it's 22 seats, not 20. He said House seats are based on persons, not citizens. Therefore, there is a 20 to 22 seat overage, including illegal immigration, which is why this favors the Democrat Party. And then a leftist member, dripping with condescension, with microscopic viewership, says, you're wrong. Right? You will always be told that you are wrong, that your facts are incorrect. You will always be the subject of dripping ire and condescension from the liberal left, even as you are clamoring with facts behind you, statistics behind you, and reality behind you. So to me, this is just emblematic of what in this election, Americans that face this every day, every state being a border state, every family affected by fentanyl and more, that they are saying, this is my reality and this is the truth. And to that left, mainstream liberal media, to the White House, they will tell you, well, sit down because you're wrong. And they will also tell you this is how you should vote if you have a certain skin color.
Lisa, I wanted to save this for you. It strikes me that Biden had a choice, and he could choose to win the Nikki Haley independent, soft Democrat voter by taking executive action on immigration. But I think they see a mutiny among progressives. So instead, they're choosing, let's put out the borders are, let's call for a path to citizenship. We're making the calculation. We're standing with the far left on this, despite the imagery.
Yeah, well, I love Elon's face in that the interview, too, because he's just like, you're an idiot. Well, we hear Kamala Harris talking about dreamers in the context of illegal immigrants. Whatever happened to the dreams of Americans?
Yeah.
And why don't we care about their dreams? And Yvette Clarke had said this in a 2021 hearing about Haitian migrants. She said that her district can absorb a significant number of these migrants because I need more people in my district just for redistricting purposes, which really shows you maybe this is why Democrats are okay